To learn to live the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. It's all free. So this is my water tank. It's opened up right now. You can see that I got a tank in here and I got a box that goes around the tank. I have insulation that covers all the way around it. The side piece is laying on the ground right now. I got it opened up. You'll see that I got ventilation. I don't know, maybe you can't see it, but back there I got ventilation. It comes from the house into here. I blow the heat in here to keep the tank warm, and it does really good. The hose froze last winter when it got down to 0 degrees, but that was only for about a week. But the tank never did freeze, so we really have a good system here. I'm going to modify the ventilation a little bit. And so how I get the water into the house is I have an RV pump that sits here. So that RV pump takes water from the tank and pushes it at whatever pressure. You can adjust the pressure on these RV pumps. And they're pretty cheap. They're only like $30. I don't even think they're that much. I don't remember. The design I had before, the pressure switch worked better. This one, they got a new design to it, and these wires hang out, and they seem to get corroded or something. See, right there, I had to shake that to make that work. So now it's running. But what happens is the vibration knocks that loose, and it doesn't work. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but just a little bit of manipulation and it turns on. So I'm going to break this open and see why it keeps shutting off on me. Okay, so this is a pressure switch. When the pressure builds up, there's a little button down here on the bottom. And right there, I see what the problem is. This thing has gotten corroded. Don't know why, but it's gotten corroded. And it looks like the switch is getting stuck. Try to bring you in a little closer. So there's a switch right there. And it gets stuck. See? Now it's stuck. So I'm going to clean that up. Not really sure how the switch got dirty, but it's dirty. So I'll just clean the switch up. That should fix the problem. Looks like it's going to work because I can't get it to stick anymore. No reason to clean the whole thing, but since I'm here, I just will clean it up a bit. Now, somebody's going to say, what you should do, because I always get that, what you should do, the thing about this tiny house, it's no different than any other house, except I live off grid, so I got some different types of equipment than a regular house does. I got a different type of water heater. I got a different type of plumbing system. It's just a little different, not a lot. I mean, but I remember living in a house, just a regular house, and I was always doing some sort of maintenance on it. Something would break, I'm always fixing something. So this is no different. You got to maintain your house, and when things don't work, you got to fix it and move on. The difference between my house and a lot of people's houses is everything I got to do is really cheap. Like I said, this pump's $30 if I had to replace it. But you replace a pump in a house, I mean, it's going to be a fortune. My well pump, I've seen people spend maybe $800 or $900 on a well pump. Mine was $157. So in my mind, I'm just minimizing everything. You come out and do a little work, what's the big deal? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this fertilizer that I got from the chicken run yesterday. If you didn't see that video, you can go check out yesterday's video. And I'm going to spread that throughout the corn garden here. it's not a very exciting job. I wish I had a pitchfork, but I don't, so I'm going to use this little rake and try to use it as a pitchfork. And I'm just going to spread it out, and then I'm going to try to till that in a little bit. This won't be a very complicated job. The ground is broken up so good now that the tiller just runs right through it. So I won't have any problems tilling it. I can just till that fertilizer in. That right there, I just tested the tiller to see how well it would do. Just dug right in real quick. So this won't be a big project. Thought I'd show you, I've been noticing deer tracks in here. We have a lot of deer on the property, but I haven't seen very many throughout the summer. Late spring we had quite a few. That was kind of odd, but they kind of hide during the summer months. They'll be back out in the winter. When I was building a tiny house last winter, they were right up next to the house all the time. So hopefully I can get some trail cam video of that soon. Okay, as you may know, I've showed several times in past videos that I can tow my tiller behind my lawnmower. I hook it up with a chain here and I just drag it behind me. It's worked out really well. And now that the ground is broken up, it's even gonna work better. I bought this tiller used, it was $150. I've had some carburetor issues. It's working pretty good now. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's perfect, but it's good enough that it's gonna work for what we need it for. I've never been a fan of buying used equipment and went ahead and bought this just because I didn't think it would ever pay for itself. Sure enough, it doesn't run right. Now what I'm doing here is I'm raising up the back wheels so all the weight is on the tines of the tiller right here. That way I get good and deep penetration into the ground. Man, that worked fantastic. Better than before. It took the fertilizer and kind of spread it out just perfectly. The straw would kind of get caught up underneath the wheels because I was dragging it backwards, but it would then lay it evenly across the entire garden. So here you can see an example where it bunched up. If I would have let it go, it would have eventually spread out perfectly. But I was still trying to figure out how to use it. I tell you, this is working out better than I'd ever expected. The tiller worked really well, probably the best since I've bought it. It really has struggled, but now I got the new carburetor, I got the seal on it. It ran great today. So everything's coming together, I suppose. Just takes time. Another place where it bunched up and I should have just let it go. This is going to be great, our little corn garden with all this chicken manure on it. If I have to dig real deep into it, I mean real hard, I've noticed that it's easier to stand up and do it. What I did last time was I kind of broke it loose with the lawnmower and then I came over it by hand, you know, where I was standing up and did it. That way I could kind of fine tune it. The lawnmower is kind of a sweeping action. It just kind of does it all at once, whereas doing it by hand and standing up and doing it, you can really get that tiller in there and work the whole ground really well. So I guess it's kind of a maintenance day today. So I just got done tilling the garden. This is several hours later now. And I noticed that I wasn't getting enough electricity charging the batteries this morning. I had to run the generator and I just couldn't figure out what was going on. Nice sunny day, and I wasn't getting hardly any amps. I think 5 amps. Now to put this in perspective, each solar panel should put out 4 amps. So I got 10 of them, so that's 40 amps and I'm getting 5. So I decided to tear into them, see what's going on. And for some reason, the panel back here on the solar panel, there's 2 screws underneath that panel to hold the wires together. And for some reason, this happened to me last year, those screws work loose. I don't know why. It screws into plastic, it's metal into plastic. That may have something to do with it. And maybe with the temperature variances from hot to cold, maybe that makes it loosen up. But several of them were actually stripped out. So we decided to remove all the wiring from them and rewire them and wrap the wire and kind of solder it in there. There should be a lot more secure now where they won't work loose. But now I'm getting 31 amps, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but it's a partly cloudy day, so 31 amps out of 40 is fantastic. So Carolyn came down, I showed her how to rewire it. So what I was doing is I was taking them and testing them. I'd have to turn all the solar panels over, roll one over so it was facing the sun to see if it was working. And then after a while, I just decided, why don't we just replace all the wiring? So I hope I can inspire you to not get discouraged with all the maintenance items. Living your dream. Thanks for watching.